Welcome back to the Global Business Report here on Arise News. Now, here in Nigeria, telecom operators have been directed by the Nigerian Communications Commission to fully bar any SIM cards that are unregistered or incorrectly registered on their networks by certain dates. So here's what we have in front of us. Subscribers with no NIN number, national identity number, if you have none at all, you'll be barred by February the 28th of next year. If you got 5 more lines and you have submitted an NIN and it's unverified, you'll be barred by March 29th. If you're under 5 lines, you've submitted an NIN, it's unverified, you'll be barred by April 15th of 2024. And of course, just as a reminder, this exercise began in December of 2020. We are happy to have engineer Gbenga Adebayo, who is the chairman of the Association of Licensed Telecom Operators of Nigeria, to discuss this very pressing matter with us. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So, big picture, in case anybody is wondering why all the fuss, why is this exercise necessary?
Thank you. Since 2020, since December 2020, we have issued the information to our subscribers to link their NIN number with their SIM records as directed by government. And we've had a series of postponement of end date between 2020 and now. And so what happened in April of this year is that the Nigerian Communications Commission directed that numbers that are without NIN, that are not linked to their NIN, should be barred from making outgoing calls. And since then, there has been communication issues to subscribers to try and update their NIN record and link it up to their SIM record to avoid disconnection. And so we are where we are now. We have to do what we have to do. So ideally, we shouldn't have lines on the national network that are not identifiable. We shouldn't have subscribers whose records are not linked to their SIM records. It's a provision of law, and we all must abide by that. And as you may know, there's been extensive discussions and debate around the necessity of this and around the implications of not having those records integrated.
Yeah.
And so where we are today is that we need to have everyone who have got their NIN registered but not linked to their SIM records to have that done before the February deadline. Otherwise, those service subscribers will be disconnected from the national network.
All right. Well, according to the NCC, about 12.3 million of those haven't been linked. But one of the players in the sector, MTN Nigeria, put out a notice to the NGX saying, "Hey, listen, we're going to comply. We have to comply with this." Alton, of course, you also put out a press release saying that you're going to comply. But help me clarify something. I think there's an article in today's Business Day newspaper saying that you want the February dates moved back. Is that just to give more time?
We aim for that. But, you know, we've had series of postponement and postponement. Some days somebody has to draw the line.
Yeah.
We think for the benefit of all, for the good of all, in order to make the process easier and better for everyone, the more extension of time we have, the better. But the question remains that this extension can be in perpetuity. At some point, we must draw the line.
Yes.
So even if it be February or not, we wanted something longer than that February. But the Commission had said that the maximum we can have is staggered between February, March, and April.
Yeah.
But in our view, we think that between now and then, we should have a number of people who don't have their records integrated to have that done. Also, there had been a school of thought around why do people have multiple SIM cards? And it's due to a number of reasons. Number one is that a number of people have more than one SIM card. Then the people have SIM cards in devices that are such as mobile devices, the MiFi devices, the Wi-Fi devices, and the rest of it. And all of these devices are with SIM cards. Also, there are also automated devices such as electric meters, car tracking systems, all of which have SIM cards in them. And these things have to be identifiable. These devices have to be, and they have to be traceable to individuals. And we can't talk about having digital economy without a reliable national database. That's quite important. And what we have also seen in this process of this SIM thing is that we see that people surprisingly have different names, they have different dates of birth, they have different places of origin and all that. And the harmonization of these records has brought that to the fore. So if government is actually talking about digital economy, progress of the economy, reliability on data that we have for reasons of financial inclusion and financial transaction, we must have credible national database. And I think this is why all of us as citizens of the country must adopt this and accept it as a necessity for the good of all. You talk about advanced countries today, which is now the destination for migration of our young people. Part of the things they have there is reliable national database. That you can identify somebody with a home, with a number, with a device, and the rest of them. And if we don't have that, we can't talk about reliable national digital economy. Yeah.
Okay, well said. But just to ask, why has this taken so long? Because I did my registration. I had to go to tell my provider. I lined up, they took my picture, took my biometrics and all that. So, I mean, it falls on your members, does it not, to get this done? So, why has there been such a delay over 4 years? Why? Help us out, help us understand.
Not necessarily, because our government, first is that we did SIM card registration.
Okay.
Many years ago.
Yes.
Operator did national SIM card registration where we identify subscribers with their SIM card. And people provided biometric record, provided identified photo ID and the rest of them. And then government said this SIM card record has to be linked with the national identity number because the National Identity Management Commission is the only licensed agency of government to hold national data of people.
Right.
In that regard, government did say that what we have as telecom operators has to be fed into the National Identity Management database. And therefore, there is a need to do integration and harmonization.
Yes.
This process brought a lot of disparity.
Yes.
Where people have different names, different number, different date of birth, different place of living, and the rest of them. And so in course of doing verification, identification and verification, these things came to the fore. So a number of people actually registered their NIN or with the operators. We had to send that forward to the Identity Management Commission to verify. And it is that verification that many times come back unsuccessful. Because once the data do not match, NIMC cannot accept it under their database. Because we are looking at creating reliable national database. So the records must align, information must agree together, and then the database must be reliable and dependable enough. For that to happen, people have to be people. You have to be who you are. You cannot bear a name in the morning and in the evening you bear a different name.
Gotcha.
You cannot be a doctor in the morning and in the evening you are a pilot. It can't be. So we need to have this record harmonized, integrated, and it has to be reliable and dependable enough. So it is in the process of doing the integration that we found out that there are disparities in records. And we can only deliver the record to the Identity Management Commission. They need to come back to us and say, verified, okay, clear to go or not clear to go. And what we are now saying is that to those whose NIN have not been verified, they must now go through a process of having that verification done so that we can have all clear. Yeah.
You have cleared it up. Government is the one that came and said, hey, you already did your parts. You verified that the SIMs and everything. They came and said, yeah, you have to link it up, and then you got to send it to NIMC, the Nigerian Management Commission. You got to wait for the data to come back, and there's a whole. So that's why you're asking for more time. But considering the time that has passed, so does any of this fall on Nigerians themselves? So Dr. Abati, we talked about this on the morning show, our flagship program. Here's what he said. He said Nigerians themselves have to hold some responsibility. Here's what he said.
But the problem is also with Nigerians. I mean, 2020 to 2023, 2024 is long enough a period for people to go and register, harmonize their SIM card with their NIN. Because at that time, on this same table, we were arguing that, give the people more time, give the people more time. Are we in a position now to ask for more time? So who bears the brunt of this?
Do Nigerians hold any responsibility? You're saying
take ownership, actually.
All of us, collectively.
Nigerians take ownership because it's your identity, it's your record, it's your SIM card, it's your phone number. You have responsibility to be transparent to the authorities. We all have responsibility on this matter, and we can't talk about issues of security and safety without having what we will call a reliable and credible national. And all of us must contribute to that database to have a reliable national database.
Dr. Abati ended with a question. They say, who bears the brunt of this? I will assume, is it your members? Because for anyone who is barred, that person can't buy data, they can't top up, they can't, so your members are losing revenue. So does all this fall on you?
No, other than revenue consideration, the impact is significant on us because we now have to manage the anxiety of customers. We have to manage the traffic into our centers. We have to manage even the Identity Commission itself to ensure that this data integration is done well and on time and fed back to the subscribers for them not to be disrupted. And at the end of the day, we consider that the reasons why we're in business is because of the subscribers. So anything that will impact on the comfort and or wellness of the subscribers is, of course, a challenge to the operator. So in that regard, I would say we will bear to a significant extent the brunt of all of it. And that's why I'm here today to appeal to Nigerians. We must ensure that those who are affected, the devices are linked, the NIN are linked with their SIM card to forestall disruption to services. And we say that with all national interests in mind, far beyond economic considerations.
Yeah. What would make the process faster? Maybe is it part of the verification going back to NIMSI? Maybe if in every telco outlet there was a NIMSI official there to verify.
Unfortunately, that's now not in our control, unfortunately. And it behoves now on the National Identity Management Commission to make that happen. In times past, operators used to have NIN enrollment centers in the outlet. By the new directive of NIMSI, we no longer have that. So the foot traffic to the center will actually head towards NIMSI infrastructure, NIMSI services. And we are now concerned. We do not know if they will have enough
capacity?
I shouldn't say capacity, enough outlet to make it easy for people. Because before now, you can walk to operator center, you can have your NIN taken, you can have your NIN verified, you can have the process completed. As we stand today, you have to go to a center of NIMSI.
Oh, wow.
And we are a bit concerned that, but we believe that NIMSI will be up to the task. We just appeal to people not to wait till the last minute. February is far, but not far. And we think that the earlier we embrace this, the better for all of us. And we must recognize that this is not aimed to punish anyone. This is not meant to aim at having people feel a lot more discomforted and all that. It's just done for common good, for reason of our national economy and national security.
You know, I was going to ask, if you get the extension, can you guarantee everything will be linked? But now, thanks to your clarity, it's not, even if you extend it, there's still a responsibility that falls on NIMSI to make sure the verification process goes through. So even if after an extension, there's still a lot that has to on the government side.
And we all have obligation to put ourselves up for this verification exercise. Every subscriber of telecom services have the obligation to ensure that their NIN is linked to their SIM card. We have that individual obligation. So long as you want to use the service, you must ensure that this process happens. Otherwise, you will stand to be disconnected.
And the phone is the center of everything. I must take this opportunity to ask you this question since you're here with us. The ongoing, I don't know if I should use the word deadlock or negotiations or back and forth between the banks and the telcos over the USSD debts. In fact, according to your organization, I think you were quoted by one of the newspapers at a gathering. You said the debt now has gone from 120 billion to over 200 billion. What is the latest, sir?
We're on it. It's been a long walk. We're on it. It's not resolved, but we are making progress. Parties are discussing, we are looking at the fine details. I think more than that, it has been in times past, everybody is now inclined to find a solution to this problem. I can't say to you that it's resolved, but we are hopeful that we will see some movement going forward. And we hope that we will not come to a point where we will come to a stalemate. But I think where we are hopeful that this will be resolved, parties are discussing, and hopefully it will be resolved. But the problem is still with us. It hasn't gone away. Well, thank you so much for clarifying that. Engineer Gbenga Adebayo, who of course is the chairman of the Association of Licensed Telecom Operators of Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate your time.